Hello and welcome to another review. Today I am doing another KTRT, Korean transforming robot toy for you, or Eastern Exotica. Basically, exotic transforming toys from the Far East. So, yeah, this arrived yesterday. You probably saw my unboxing video for it. And it's another bot from the Tobot line from Young Toys. I've decided I want to branch out a bit and start collecting from a different manufacturer and a different toy line, these Korean toys. So I have got Tobot R, and here he is in his fire truck mode. Now this guy he's big, he's heavy, he's made out of nice good shiny plastic. He's got pinned wheels, no rubber tyres, but he's got pinned wheels. Yeah, he's got weapon storage. And another thing that this guy comes with is he's got light and sounds gimmick. Now, underneath you've got these little rubber wheels, which when the vehicle is on a flat surface and you push it along, you see, hang on. See the little light bar on top lights up, and you get and then it carries on for a little while and then it stops. And what this is a little gimmick they've worked into it. It's a little friction powered generator built in underneath with these little rubber tyres that stick down and then work on a surface when you're driving it along, and it creates the lights, the flashing lights, and the siren. And it works on a similar principle to one of these, a little zipper torch. Now, basically, it's got a little generator in here which is powered by a cog and operated by the handle. So when you do that, it works the torch, and then when the wheel stops spinning, you lose the electricity. So that's a little friction powered torch. This mechanism on this works in the same way. As you turn the wheels, it generates electricity, which then goes through, powers the soundboard inside, as well as operates the lights on top. No batteries involved, so it's a purely self-contained system that works automatically. Nice little gimmick, interesting, and obviously a light and a siren because it's a fire engine. Now, the fire engine is quite large, and another thing about the Tobot toys as opposed to the Carbots, Tobots have got more of a toy aesthetic about them. I mean, this guy wouldn't look out of place in a lineup of Tonka toys. It's very sort of very rounded, very beefy, very chunky. Like I said, it's got pin wheels that roll really well, and it's all very nice and chunky and huge. It's a great bot, great vehicle mode. There's a little bit because obviously the cab unit detaches in transformation. It's a little bit of a seam there where it doesn't quite peg down properly, but not too bad. There's a couple of stickers. You have to put these stickers on at the back, and then there's the license plate you put on the front. But apart from that, it's all self-contained. A few paint apps. It's got like a tampographed symbol on the side, 119, which I assume is the Korean emergency number. Like over here, it's 999. In America, it's 911. So theirs is 119. It's got the chrome grille with the tow key port. It's got transparent lenses, blacked out windows, and it's got storage on the side for the tow key, which is here, which is fashioned as a fire axe. Now, he actually comes with two tow keys, one that is attached to his vehicle mode, like so, and the other one just comes in the package. Now, Tobots, the gimmick with them is you take the toe key, you stick it in the slot, and it opens the transformation. On this guy, you turn it and it unclicks the front end. Now, it says in the instructions that you must use the toe key to disconnect it, but you can transform it in a different order to the one it shows you in the instructions, and you can separate the front parts safely without the risk of damaging anything. So anyway, to transform this guy, take the weapon off the top, and then you start with these side panels, which you then pull open on both sides. They're quite tightly pegged in. Ooh. There we go. Then you pull open the legs, like so. Push in the kneecaps. Backs of the legs, you've got the feet inside, you pull them out. Then doing those flaps, then separate the legs, and the legs are done. Very simple transformation on this guy, and as you can see, he's getting quite big. Right, now, take the top of the cab, unclip, and just move it out of the way for now. Come round, you can pretty much see what's going on. Move the arms down to the side. Rotate those around. Pull the arms out. And then rotate the shoulders down. And then finally, take the cab and plug it into the back. And there we have him. Oh, one thing I forgot to do on the legs, fold the wheels in. Right, and there we have him, Tobot R in his robot mode. And, woo, isn't he big boy? He's very, very butch and chunky, got, you know, very hench look about him. The weapon has got a little bit which pulls out and then goes into his hand like that. Now the toe key, you'd think, being a fire axe design, you'd think he'd be able to hold it in his hand, but sadly he can't, because he's got oversized pegs in his hand that are bigger than 5mm, and you can put it in his hand and it will rest in there, but as you can see, it's very loose and will fall out. But he has a spare one on his leg. So there we go. Now, I'll take the weapon off. Now, I've had a little play with this guy, and although he looks very impressive, he's big and he's chunky and he's really well made, unfortunately his aesthetic works against him and restricts a lot of his articulation, which is kind of unfortunate and a bit sad, but we'll go through it anyway. Right, the arms. Now, they only go up that far, and they only go back that far. Now there's a bit of a clearance issue on the back here with the corners of the shoulder pauldrons and the back of the cab unit. It just about clears, but as you can see I just clouted it and unpegged it. Now, the shoulders do have a joint here as part of the transformation, so they can do that. Now, this, like Carbots, does not have, or it's missing certain articulation joints, most notably bicep swivels, and that kind of hurts this figure, and I'll explain why in a bit. Yes, the chunk of his shoulder chunk does restrict a lot of the movements in his arms. He has a kind of a double elbow going on here, but because of this bit round here, because it gets in the way, when you're doing the elbows forward, it goes forward on that bit, and then there's a couple of clicks, and then it starts the wheel starts clouting the bottom of this, and so does that. And that's as far forward as he can do his arms. You can sort of then rotate his shoulder forwards in order to compensate for it and get a straight arm, but it's kind of unfortunate. Now, the head is fixed, it doesn't move. When you activate the thing, you can see there's a little light that lights up in his faceplate. Now the Tobots don't have mouths; they just have like a flashing faceplate that flashes when they talk, and Tobot R is no exception to that. Anyway, like I said, you can sort of mess around with the joints that he's got to get some poses, but it's very awkward, not natural in any way, and it's kind of a shame that he can't move his arms as freely as you'd expect him to. So yeah, top half of the bot severely hampered by just stuff getting in the way, basically. Waist joint, he hasn't got one. Legs. Now again, we've got problems with the legs. Let's just move that out of the way. Now you've got this little flap thing which opens out, and you can just about get him to do a split, which is great. He does have thigh swivels. That's good. Pretty good so far. But the hips, get hold of him. The hips, if you see here, you can see they're quite thick, and when you go to move his hips forwards and backwards, they only go that far forwards and that far back, not even 90 degrees. And the reason being is because you can see the edges of this hip joint are actually hitting or clouting the top of the underside of the waist. That's a clearance issue, and it's a shame that that is where it is. So that severely hampers his hip movement. Then you've got the knees. Now the knees, you've got these little kneecap things which really you need to pull out to give you better articulation, because if you have them in, they sort of trap the kneecap and it makes it difficult to move. So the knee. Now normally it only goes back, it only goes back about 1 or 2 clicks, and the reason being is these wheels. Now you can move the wheels out of the way, and then if you put the wheels right the way out of the way, you can get his knees to go back that far as part of the transformation. So you can get a super deep knee bend, but you kind of have to mistransform him to get that. If you leave the wheels pegged in like they're supposed to be, you hardly get any movement on the knees at all. He does, however, have a good forward motion on his knees. They do go forwards quite a bit. And another thing, if you're using the thigh swivels, you swivel it, that can also restrict the knee movement given where the thigh joint is and the close proximity of the rest of the knee. So yeah, he's severely hampered in terms of articulation, which is unfortunate because he's a good looking bot. Obviously the feet, you've got a little bit on the toe there, nothing much, and his legs are cut at an angle so that you can get an A stance going on. But apart from that, he's beautifully coloured. He's got like a nice chrome bit on the front. He's got a nice head sculpt, decent paint apps. He's a really, really good, solid, chunky, cool bot and an awesome toy. But for an adult collector, it's a shame that he just hasn't got that a little bit more attention to detail on the articulation that would have made him a really great bot. And it's a shame that because of clearance issues all over the place, you can't get the full raft of articulation that you would expect, from a decent action figure such as this. And that's a pity. But no, he's good. I'm glad I bought him. He was like the first Tobot that I wanted to get. I might want to talk a little bit about this character in the show. He doesn't appear until about, I think there's the 3rd or 4th season of Tobots, because the Tobots the episodes are very short, and their format they run to, I think they're only about 4 to 6 minutes long, the episodes, and they only run in a series of about 10 episodes. Anyway, I think Tobot R doesn't appear until season 4 or 5. It's one of the mid sort of range series. And originally he is introduced because obviously all the Tobots have a human character that partners them. It was the old professor guy who keeps going, oh, 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 keeps laughing all the time. Now I've looked on Wikipedia, and the English name they've got for him is Professor No. I know he has got a different Korean name, which I'm not quite sure about. Anyway, he starts off with this guy, but then this other character that comes in called Neon. He's kind of like a slightly older youth, grown-up boy that the main kids get involved with, and he's like the cool kid. He's got like highlights, fluorescent highlights in his hair, and he's really cool, and he's got his own bachelor pad full of pinball machines and TV and computer games, and the kids go hang out there. And anyway, he takes over, becomes the partner for Tobot R. And the one bit about Tobot R that I really like in the show is he does this strange quirk. He does this presenting thing where he suddenly whips out a microphone and addresses the camera, and then and explains what's going on in that particular episode. And he does that on a number of occasions. It's really funny when he does it. And I was wondering, I wonder if this guy comes with the microphone, but he doesn't. And even if he did, because of the restricted arm articulation, he can't hold the microphone in front of him like he does in the show. He just can't do it, and that's a crying shame. The one thing that this character does above all others in the show, the one thing that makes him unique and stand out against the other characters, he can't actually do it. I was tempted to try and make a microphone for this guy, but because I can't get him to hold it in a reporter stance, that's a shame. Anyway, so there he is, Tobot R. He's the second Tobot I've bought, and another review of a KTRT, Korean transforming robot toy. I will be getting more toys from this line. I'm probably gonna wait now till next month before I buy another one. I did have this thing whereby as soon as a toy arrives, I will order the next one straight after, but it's kind of gone a bit over the top this month. I've just had loads of deliveries, and it's been a bit overload. So yeah, but I will be ordering more bots from the Tobot series later on. But for now, this is me signing off. Catch you next time. Ta-da.